Now we have a group of people presenting some of the results the group found out based on their pilot studies in the Nordic countries. That's Markku Lang from Finland, Marit Stavem from Norway, Bodil Bøjer from Denmark, Colin Campbell from Sweden, and Þórdís from Iceland, and then Raja Katilakoski, also from Finland, that will talk about inclusion and Nordic learning environment design. But they will show us some results in this group in photographs and text. Markku, you will start, please.
Thank you. So I'm balancing between this research and consulting business, and at the moment I'm making doctoral thesis in Lapland University about the theme how these new modern school spaces are used, and that's like I'm trying to add this knowledge to my work. So this pilot study is interesting. We are trying to find the phenomenon of Nordic school or Nordic school design. Do we have it? Of course, we have just like 5 schools in this pilot, so this overview is quite like short and how say we can't make any big assumptions of this. So we have 3 methods, and these are going to be presented in this all the countries. So this first was about how these schools are structured, what kind of spaces we are going to have there, and these are called like a topologies, and we are following a little bit Dewey Fisher's topology method, and these blue ones are describing classrooms, yellow spaces are like smaller spaces for differentiation and maybe teamwork for the teachers as well, and these red ones are like spaces for co-teaching, maybe for 2 or 3 groups. And these green areas are like for shared learning spaces, not owned by any classroom or group. So you can see this diversity already from these 5 schools we picked up. Usually we picked up these schools where we had a workshops. They're like quite randomly, quite close by of these places where this research group had these meetings. So the other one is like we are trying to find what and how these spaces were designed like as interiors, because we know this furniture with the furniture we can make spaces as places, and what kind of places we are creating inside of these spaces. That's what we wanted to know. What kind of spaces there are for individual work in public, and what kind of spaces we have this for private work and individual at the same time. And it seems that this need for this private sector is increasing at the moment in this schools for many reasons. So this was the second methodology, and the third one we took from our study in Finland, where we were trying to find out about transversal skills, how these spaces are supporting them, and this is a little bit adapted from this Finnish study. So we were looking from these spaces for collaboration. These transversal skills, by the way, are like future skills or 21st century skills in many other countries. And we were trying to find also, are there spaces for cultural competencies, exhibition spaces, performing spaces, and spaces for individual work, and also spaces where you can go and be calm and have a safe feeling. That's also needed nowadays quite a lot. And fifth was like we were trying to find, are these spaces flexible, how it's possible to change, open and close, and of course we were looking after these spaces for certain purpose, like a gym hall or craft or natural science, etc. So now we are going to have a a lot of pictures, a lot of views from different countries, and Finland is starting, but we are not showing all these categories. Right? Some interesting topics of different countries, and every presenter is going to, every country is going to explain what they are going to show in this on their turn. So time limit is 6 minutes per country, so we are going to quite rapidly here. And first is going to be Sari Lehtonen from Helsinki, and you are going to present this photo documentation from Finland. Welcome to the floor.
Yes, so hello everybody. I'm an architect and I'm working for the city of Helsinki in education division. And our first meeting was in Finland when we started, and with our research group, and we were experimenting with these pilot instruments. And the participant school is situated in the middle part of Finland, not in Helsinki. And this school represents a multifunctional village-like structure that serves as both the cultural and educational center for the municipality. The building was completed in 2023, and it consists of a school with 500 pupils, grades 3 to 6, and also preschool and kindergarten, swimming pool and sports hall. And the first method and instrument was this typology, and this happens to be a typology C, as you can see, and it's a traditional classrooms with flexible walls and shared learning space in the middle. And typical of Nordic countries, we have the outdoors and a vestibule where everybody leaves their jacket and shoes. Then from the Nordic observation framework, I will present some of the cases. They are shown here in blue. So there is an example of the collaboration and encounters across classes. And these kind of spaces are typically like a school canteen, where people eat their lunch, and this is connected to the stage. And it enables whole school gatherings. And the second photo is 2 classrooms that they have a removable wall in between them. So it's possible to do co-teaching and collaboration between learner groups there. Then there's an example of collaboration between educators. You can see a gathering room where they can spend time, and they can divide the spaces there and also work there together. And there's also kitchen facilities connected to these spaces, so they can have a lunch there and do some gathering also. And here are examples of collaborations with outside the school community. So this was this educational and cultural center, so there is a school sports field outside. There's a public swimming pool and canteen connected to it, and a big sport hall. And here you can see examples of performing and gathering. There is a music classroom, which of course is a specialized kind of learning space type also. And there is a dining hall with stepped stairs again. And the stage, they are all connected together for versatile activities for the school and community also. And then there are these kind of smaller steps providing informal audience seating in the connections of clusters. And then these show like these opening and enclosing spaces this is a typical kind of a smaller workspace in Finnish context where you have a view to the classroom. And the window allows kind of the controlling what is happening in both spaces at the same time. And on the other pictures, you see this kind of a stage which can be opened in the shared learning space, and it can be closed from this breakout area also. And in the end, here's kind of the furniture typologies we found at this place. All these public alone, public together, and private alone and private together cases. And that's all from Finland. Next up is Norway. And see.
Is it okay with the sound? I have the feeling that something has changed during the break. Can you hear? Yeah. Okay.
So, hello everyone, and thank you for joining this seminar. I come from Norconsult and from the industry. My background is from education, working as an educational consultant, educational planner. Ruseløkka School is the example from Norway, which is just an example because all schools in Norway are different. It's a public primary and lower secondary school for 6 to 16-year-old students in grade 1 to 10, with 860 students. The building was completed in 2021, and the building project had a sustainability focus. The school building, which is in central Oslo, has almost 700 square meters of solar panels on the roof, among other features. This is the typology that fits to Ruseløkka School. As you can see, there are classrooms with door to group rooms, the yellow are the group rooms, and also to shared learning spaces between two group rooms. The dotted lines show a folding wall between two group rooms to merge the group rooms and make bigger room. Ruseløkka School is built after the standardized design brief in Oslo, with classrooms for 30 students and flexible walls between some classrooms and shared breakout spaces and group rooms for each grade. And here are examples of different aspects of the physical learning environment at Ruseløkka School. Public alone in little caves or nests as holes in the wall, very public and visible. Private alone at the desk in one of the group rooms. Public together in a classroom furnished with group tables for 6 students. And private together with furniture sheltering the activities. A central amphitheater with projector and a big screen for gatherings for a big group of students. In the background, you can see the library. Together, the library and the amphitheater can make a place also for informal interaction during breaks. The pictures show places for working in smaller groups. The left picture is from a breakout area outside the classrooms, and the picture to the right is from the rooftop, with possibilities for having an outdoor classroom. The staff room has a small kitchen and serves both as a lunchroom and a place for informal work meetings. Behind the folding wall, on the picture to the right, there's a meeting room. Opening the folding wall makes a bigger staff room to make room for everybody. An important aspect in school buildings is the exhibition spaces to display students' work. At Rusløkka School, there's an exhibition space which is planned for in the art room and other places. But as you can see on the picture to the right, the students' art is also displayed on a window to show people outside of the building, outside of the school. And this school is very central, so I think this window is more or less on the pavement. This picture shows the same workstation in a group room. It's facilitated for autonomous work for one student. Furniture in the breakout area can be arranged for both group work and individual work. There are also seats built into the wall, offering more privacy. So we see, again, the holes in the wall. And the nooks on the picture to the left are upholstered to soften sound and offer some visual privacy in a public space. The corner on the picture to the right offers privacy in a closed, quiet room with a door between classrooms. Yoga mats are provided in these rooms, which are all furnished and arranged differently. Children don't always need much furniture. A mat on the floor can be very nice. On both pictures, you can see furniture which easily can be shifted around and change the space from closed, as the pictures, to open. Like if you move the big blue chairs around, you suddenly have a more open space. And here are two examples of spaces which are specialized for activities or subjects which need specific tools or equipment. Natural sciences for 30 students to the left, and home economics for approximately 20 students to the right. Thank you.
Sort of feels like a déjà vu standing here. No, so, thank you, Siv. As I said before, my name is Bodil Bøjer, and I'm from the Royal Danish Academy. And I'm going to present the Danish pilot school that we visited. It's one out of 3 schools that we saw in Copenhagen in May 2025, I think. So the school that we chose to pilot in Denmark was Hellerup School, as Tina also said. It's a school that's located in Gentofte, which is a township right next to Copenhagen. It was completed in 2002 as part of a big school development project that ran from late 1990 to approximately 2010. And in this project, the local authority modernized and expanded several schools in the neighborhood, focusing on new educational principles and more flexible learning environments. And Hellerup School is a public primary and lower secondary school with grades from 1 to 10. And I don't know what the name is in English. It's sort of, we have a grade 0, which is really a bad thing to call, sort of a preschool, but there are approximately 750 to 800 students, 3 classes per grade level. The school is designed by Oppimaisema architects, and it's internationally recognized as an early example of open and flexible school architecture in Denmark in the 21st century. And this is one of the reasons why we picked this one as our Danish pilot school. The typology is E. According to the taxonomy that Markku has been working on. It's an open plan design with flexible learning environments that are organized around large interconnected learning zones rather than traditional classrooms. And this is quite unique in Denmark. Everything is centered around this staircase that you see on the picture here And then on each floor there are home areas for the students. Due to its flexible physical layouts and spatial dividers, no walls but more dividers that are movable, all the learning areas can be reconfigured and adapted to suit a teaching approach that's constantly evolving. And you can see in the text, in the visualization here, how everything is centered around the staircase in the middle. So we saw a lot of different furniture when we visited Hellerup School, and here are 4 examples categorized according to these 4 categories: public alone, public together, private alone, and private together. So there was a part that you could sort of withdraw to and work public alone, public together. These are called, I think they call them beehives, because they're like these round structures where you can sort of meet for instruction, gather the class before, and then they go out into the learning environment to work independently, and you can get together in the end as well for a final, how do you say that, meeting before you leave for breaks. And then a lot of different breakout areas for working private together, as you see with the table and chairs, and in the right corner, in the bottom, and private alone was an example of a furniture for private alone. And we didn't see many of these kinds of furniture there. So it was a lot of the furniture was based for group work, or was intended for group work. So I picked some examples, a selection of examples of pictures that from some of these categories that Markku presented and Markku and Sari presented earlier. For example, spaces for collaboration and encounters across classes. As I said, it's a very open, flexible learning environment. So it's a lot of open, flexible team areas across the school where you can do co-teaching and collaboration between various learner groups. And the movable dividers and furniture that you can see here makes it possible to divide the learning area into smaller lounge or work areas, and even the more enclosed gathering spaces, for example, the beehive, which is actually flexible, so it can both be opened and closed. It can be used for instructions, for whole class discussions, and for wrap-up moments. For group work between learners, as I said, we saw a lot of different types of furniture. For example, small tables with chairs, a lot of sofas, soft furniture, and the pot that you see here on the right side. There were also spaces intended for collaboration between educators. There was the teachers' lounge or staff area, where there were both informal and that enabled both informal and formal encounters between educators, tables and chairs or soft furniture, but even the high table that they could stand around and work or sit on high chairs. But even all the learning environments in the school were sort of framing teacher collaboration and formal and informal encounters, because they worked so close together in co-teaching. And then formal and informal spaces for autonomous work. A lot of work corners, movable chairs and tables, group areas, all kinds of furniture intended for both formal and informal autonomous work. And even the staircase in the middle is used for both formal and informal work. They're book cases, so they sort of supports reading, and breakout areas that with soft furniture again, as you see here, and even these Europa pallets that were used to create sort of, you can move them around and create flexible, relaxed seating areas in the learning areas. And finally, I picked the specialized spaces, because I think that's a very strong Nordic tradition as well, that we have a strong focus on arts and crafts in the Nordic countries. So that's something that we saw across all schools. For example, these areas for woodwork, for design thinking, for technical work, but even specialized classrooms for natural sciences, as you see in the middle here, and spaces for lessons in cooking and nutrition. Thank you. And then I would like to introduce my next colleague, Colin Campbell. From Sweden, yeah. Well, not really.
Thank you, Bodil. I hope you can hear me. So my name is Colin Campbell. I am from industry with Ecophon, as Tina mentioned, quite biased towards sound environments, which I won't talk too much about here, but we always have a bias on that because we believe that the sound environment plays such a big part from a teaching and student perspective, being proactive, reactive. It's psychological and it's physiological, the way it affects people, so it has a huge impact on overall well-being. And the school, we've chosen some, I'm a global concept developer for what we call educational environments, and Ida, my colleague here, who's been working with this also in the project, is the local concept developer. So the school we chose to observe with the group, I actually just very quickly on the group going round, we were already interested in this school. It was a 70s school being 70s school which specialises in science and particularly sports, floorball, innebandy, floorball and football. And they put a huge investment and resource into a new sports hall, which I'm deliberately not showing you a picture because it's a state-of-the-art venue, and I don't want to talk about that because what's interesting for me is when we're looking at this as a good example to look at from an equality point of view, an inclusion point of view with the spaces, from a sustainability point of view, they really looked at how they could reuse and repurpose the old sports hall. So that's what we're sitting on the left-hand side, and you can see some of the wooden bars which they've left. So that's us sitting there. The other thing is the chance of about 80% of us in the group have managed to visit 80% of the schools across the 5 countries and have different insights, and that's really great. So this school, the repurposed sports hall, which we'll just come on to, so basically you could say one is a typology A on the left, the traditional school from the 70s, and a typology E, pretty open, this old sports hall. The sports hall is occupied by 9 to 10-year-olds, and there's about 2 teachers and something like between 35 and 50 students in this space. So the space in the plan at the top is the traditional classrooms, but it's not quite traditional with an internal corridor. There are shared access, shared vestibules, and these work quite well. And you can also access classroom to classroom from a teaching perspective. The students are free to come and go, and the vestibule is also used, which we'll come on to as well. Lighting, air quality, not just acoustics, indoor environmental qualities, all pretty good here. But I make it an A-B, and for that, just because of the way that they use the vestibule spaces. And again, this is the A to E is a slider typology. The schools can also be somewhere in between, and of course this school has some different areas. And the DE, I think, from an open space, I call it a DE because from an acoustic perspective, it's very well zoned that the house, the whole space is so well zoned you feel the students are in different spaces. So again, applying the different typologies, you can see that the sports hall, gym bars and so on that are there. And it's a great use of furniture. And the furniture, again, they didn't have a budget for this, so it's second-hand, repurposed, reused office furniture a lot of the time, which is a great thing to look at. And then when we apply and look at public alone, again, sometimes the students could be at a single desk or sometimes in a booth with acoustic and visual privacy. And then bottom left, this is outside the vestibule space where you could have a restoration and or a single space for one student or teacher, and then private alone with sliding doors in these larger booths for 4 to 6 students. And then the amphitheatre, bringing the students together close, again, keeps the speech communication a bit more direct and a nice soft space to gather and then move around. So this worked well. Ida has also, at the same time, because of the interest, which you can read in a separate article coming out in English soon, is asking the students how they feel and the teachers how they feel in the sound environment, and then some findings from that, which is quite fascinating, that it's not always what you might imagine, which teachers, which students, and teachers have different personalities too, which has been interesting. So just quickly, we're getting out of time. Some specialist spaces, again, school majors in science, but also great to see the woodwork and metalwork and so on, textiles and home economics coming through. And then just to show you that some more open space where the classes, the students can come together, look at all the office furniture. So there was a new acoustic ceiling, but they're really adding what they can. Everything is applied to help zone break-up spaces. So much agency for the students to choose the space that suits them. And again, repurposing so many things. So there will be more available, but that's me from Sweden. And now we will go to the home Iceland again, to the core.
Hello again. The school we selected to use in the study is Helgafellsskóli in Mosfellsbær. It's a small town next to Reykjavik, We chose that school because it is a new school. It was built in 2019, and also because it has a layout that has been replicated a few times since then in Iceland. This school houses pupils in kindergarten and elementary school in the ages from 2 to 15 years old. Here you see the overview of the school. We can see that the kindergarten have their outdoor area up on the balconies, and it has a sports hall, and it has a greenery up on the roof. That's really nice. I really love that. It's on 3 floors, so the older kids are on the lowest floor, and the offices and the kindergarten are on the highest floor. Here you see the example of one of the floors in the school. There are 3 year groups on 1 floor. Each year has a big open plan classroom, 1 adjoining smaller classroom, and 2 smaller spaces for smaller group work. There is also a small storage space within each classroom. Classroom. The green area is a big shared learning space in the middle of the floor with bathrooms, lockers, and there is also a small kitchen unit with an oven that they can use. And each floor has its own entrance. Here are the categories from the study. We found examples of all of the categories within the school, but at the time we visited the school, there weren't many examples of public alone spaces. The small breakout spaces that they have in each classrooms are multifunctional. You can use it as a private alone or private together space. This is the hall you saw earlier and Þórdís' presentation from another angle. This is a multi-purpose room. It's a really great room with great acoustics. The pupils eat their lunches there, and the after-school program uses it a lot. There are also all kinds of lectures, big meetings, exhibitions, dances, etc. in the space, and it has been used for outside activity from outside the school, like dance competitions and everything like that. Here you see the television room. It's a very, very popular room, and the school and the leisure departments use it a lot. This is an example of the shared learning space in front of the classrooms. This is a multifunctional space for learning and hangout between classes. These days, the school is developing this space further in collaboration with the students. This is the floor for the offices and the staff lounge. There are no private offices for the administrators, and the principal and the vice principal share an office, and the department heads, along with the leisure directors, share another one. They have a space for private conversations and a meeting room, but you can surely say that they would appreciate more smaller spaces for private conversations and small meetings. And I think that is really common in many schools and projects, that they need more of these spaces. What is also unusual here is that the secretary's desk is in the middle of the corridor and not in a closed room. The teachers have one space for preparation that all the teachers on that floor use together. It's a great space for collaboration among the teachers, and I know that they talk a lot together, and it's great for their collaboration. And I know maybe like 15, 20 people using one space together. Yeah, 12 to 50 maybe. This is a lower secondary classroom, and this is just one example of the arrangements in the big open classroom. Most of the furniture are mobile, and all the classrooms were different. In this area, there are 2 to 3 teachers working or teaching together, sometimes with supporting staff. And in the back, you can see a door leading into a smaller classroom. And they also have smaller spaces within the classroom for smaller group work or private work. And you see they have good visibility. This is my favorite space in the school. A great teacher within the school has got the kids involved in building the furniture and growing the plants. And every year in the spring they have a sale, so you can come and buy flowers, summer flowers from them. The kids can also come in here and relax and read. That's allowed. And yeah, you have a great view of the surrounding mountains and the town, so it's a great space.